Hello dear students, today we will discuss about again a new concept called cost functions, and today's question is if total cost function is given by C equals to q to the power 3 divided by 3 minus q square minus 35q plus 10, where q is the level of output, the output for which average cost equals to marginal cost is dash, and the options are 5, 7, 3 and 4. So I can say that this question is also related to the concept called derivative, and we have already discussed about derivative. That means different questions related to derivative. So for this question, let's discuss more about different concepts regarding the cost. So I'll start like this. Being the students of economics, we all familiar about the cost functions, and we all know that cost is a function of output. Okay, so I have written like this, that C is a function of Q. That means C is equals to cost. That is a function of output. Okay, and coming to different types of cost, we have basically three types of cost, like total cost denoted by TC, marginal cost MC, and average cost denoted by AC. Okay, so then what is the total cost? Total cost means it is the sum of all cost. Total means sum. So it is the sum of all cost incurred by a firm in producing a certain level of output. That means when a firm or a producer or an individual produces a certain kind of products, and for which the total or the sum amount of cost he or she bears, that is called the total cost. Okay, and we also know that that the total cost is the combination of two costs again, that is the total fixed cost and total variable cost. So total fixed cost is given by TFC and total variable cost is TVC. Okay, and the second number of cost is the marginal cost, and we all know that marginal means small change, and marginal function is always calculated by using the first order derivative. So marginal cost is the first order derivative of total cost. So you all can write it down, that marginal cost, this is very important point. So marginal cost is always the first order derivative of total cost. Okay, so you all can see here that I have already written that MC is equals to delta TC divided by delta Q, or you can write it as like delta TC or DTC divided by DQ. Okay, so MC is here like the marginal cost, and delta TC is equals to the change in total cost, delta Q is the change in output, and marginal cost is defined as the change in the total cost generated by the production of additional units of output. Okay, so whenever a producer or firm produces an additional unit of output, and for that amount of output he or she has to bear an extra unit of cost, that is called the marginal cost. Okay, so I hope you all are getting my point. And then come to the average cost function. Okay, and you all can write it here that average cost is also known as the per unit cost. Okay, average cost is also known as the per unit cost, and average cost, the formula of average cost is total cost divided by Q, TC by Q. Okay, or we can say that average cost is again the combination of two cost functions, that is the average fixed cost function and average variable cost function. Okay, and average cost is equals to the total cost divided by the number of units of goods produced. So we can write AC as TC divided by Q, and we all know that TC is equals to TFC plus TVC. So in place of TC I can write TFC plus TVC divided by Q. So this can also be written like this: TFC divided by Q plus TVC divided by Q. So TFC divided by Q equals to AFC and TBC divided by Q equals to ABC. So these are three types of cost functions we found in economics. So here you all can say like the diagrammatic representation of the cost functions. So we all know that cost is a function of output. So for this I have taken in x-axis the output here, and in y-axis total cost, average cost and marginal cost. So here you all can see this is the total cost function, that is elongated SF, and TC is the combination of TFC and TBC. So TFC, total fixed cost, is horizontal straight line here, and TBC is again the elongated XF here. And for coming to AFC and ABC, so AFC is downward sloping and ABC is upward sloping, and we know that AC is the combination of AFC and ABC. So AC curve is U shape, this line, and then MC curve, this line is the MC curve, and MC curve cuts the AC curve at its minimum point. Okay, and the point is A here, and for this the producer or the farm is producing OQ level of output. So this is one of the important point you all can remember, that MC cuts HC at its minimum point always. Okay, so this is important. So now we can move towards our question. So here the cost function is C equals to Q to the power 3 divided by 3 minus Q square minus 35Q plus 10. Okay, so I'll write the cost function. So the cost function C is equals to TC, which is given as Q to the power 3 divided by 3 minus Q square minus 35Q plus 10. Hope this is the question. Yes, this is the question. Okay, and Q is equals to the output. So we have to find out the output where AC is equals to MC, and we all know that AC cuts MC at its minimum point. AC cuts MC at its minimum point. So this is important, you all have to remember this. So let's find out AC and MC first. So previously we have already discussed like AC is equals to the per unit cost, that is TC divided by Q. So TC function is given as Q to the power 3 divided by 3 minus Q square minus 35Q plus 10 whole divided by Q, and I can write it as like Q3 divided by 3Q minus Q square divided by Q minus 35Q divided by Q plus 10 divided by Q. Okay, so here Q cancelled out with Q3, providing Q square, and Q square, that means Q cancelled out. So here AC is equals to Q square divided by 3 minus Q minus 35 plus 10Q. Okay, and this is the AC function. So I'll put it in a box. Again MC, it is known as the marginal cost, and this is the derivative of total cost with respect to dq. So d of q cube divided by 3 minus q square minus 35q plus 10 with respect to dq. So this can be written as d of q cube divided by 3 with respect to dq minus d of q square with respect to d of q minus d of 35q with respect to dq plus d of 10 with respect to dq. So I'll take 1 by 3 common because it is a constant. So derivative of q square equals to 3 q cube equals to 3 q square minus derivative of q square equals to 2q minus 35 plus 0 because the derivative of a constant is always equals to 0. So 3 cancelled out. So q square minus 2q minus 35 HMC. So I'll put it within a box. Okay. So we have to find out the output where AC is equals to MC. Okay. So AC we have got q square divided by 3 minus q minus 35 plus 10 cube. So it's not 10 cube, it's 10 divided by cube. So it is wrongly written. So 10 divided by cube. Okay. So this is also 10 divided by cube, which is equals to marginal cost, that is q square minus 2 cube minus 35. Okay. So implies that q square divided by 3. So this q square I'll take to the left side minus q square. Okay. So minus q. So plus 2q plus 10 by q equals to 35 minus 35 plus 35. This is equals to 0. So 3q square minus 3q square, 2q minus q, that means q plus 10 divided by q equals to 0. So again minus 2q square divided by 3 plus q square plus, this is 10 equals to 0. Okay. So again 3q. So minus 2q cube plus 3q square plus 10 equals to 0. Implies that I can write it as minus 2q cube plus 3q square plus 30 equals to 0, or I can write it as 2q cube plus, so it's minus 3q square minus 30 equals to 0. So I'll take highest denomination into common, that is QQ. 2 minus 3 by Q minus 30 by Q square equals to 0. Okay. So here I can write QQ equals to 0 and 2 minus 3 by Q minus 30 Q square equals to 0. So here answer is not predictable. Okay. So here I can say answer is not predictable. So it is difficult to find out the answer because the solution does not exist. Okay. So dear students, hope you got the answer. Here in this case the solution does not exist, so it is difficult to to find out the answer. So thank you so much.